Hey friends, welcome today, a number of Vlogmas. Hi, how's it going? How's everybody doing? I thought it could be kind of fun to take some holiday releases, some holiday eyeshadow face palettes, and redesign them. And redo them, and edit them, and make them the holiday dream that I wish the palettes could be. And I've been talking about redesigning palettes for a very long time on this channel, and I never actually got around to doing it. So this is going to be the first of many. Trust me, I will make more of these in the future. So what I did was I gathered up just a selection of Christmas palettes from this year. I brought them into Photoshop and I just fucked around with them. I messed around with them. I edited some colors. I moved some shades around. Most of what I did was editing shades and kind of like switching shimmers and mattes back and forth. I especially thought it would be fun because I haven't been able to do a whole lot in Photoshop in the last 9 months because I haven't been taking photos. So I got to flex my Photoshop muscles. I was like, I need to do something. I haven't used Photoshop in so long, except for just making thumbnails for my own videos. So let's just get started.
Shall we?
So the first one we're gonna look at is the Colourpop and Hello Kitty palette. This came out very recently, and I remember seeing the images and seeing the response. I'm like, this palette is terrible. It was like Colourpop decided to do one palette that had like some depth and some richness to it with the Raw Beauty Christie palette, and then they went straight back to this. And this palette is boring. Like, it's just, there's too many shades that are too similar. There's very little depth to it. And also it doesn't read Hello Kitty at all. Like, at all. So what I did was I completely changed it up. I kept the two top right and center shades, and then the bottom left shade I kept the same, but I switched everything else around. Basically, I took that middle maroon shade, I made it darker, I made it a little bit more purple toned. I changed the one on the bottom right to a straight up red, because the fact that they didn't have a straight red in this Hello Kitty palette is just blasphemy, because like, I don't know, when I think Hello Kitty, I think of red and blue. Like, is that just me? Like, I think of like the red and blue little outfit with the bow. Like, there has to be a red in a Hello Kitty palette. Hello? So then I added a blue. I replaced that like sad baby pink in the center that was just kind of useless. Like, those shades, while they're fine for blending out things, they have very little actual use. There's no, it's like a non-color. Like, why put that in there? So I replaced that with a pretty little kind of oceany blue. Switch that up. And then the shade on the center left, I made a bit richer. I made the orange a bit brighter because there is orange in Hello Kitty's art. I made that orange a bit brighter. Oh no, I switched the one on the center right as well. I made that more of like a pretty kind of lilac-y pink. I looked at the shades in the actual palette itself because there were some of those cooler pinks. So I wanted to add some more cool pink in there. And then the top left shade, I made more, well, I completely changed the top left shade. I made it like this bright, kind of shimmery, like a limoncello type color, a yellow to white, but like not necessarily a gold, but like a yellow, like a bright white shimmery yellow. I feel like this would make a lot more sense. I didn't change anything about the top right and the center top, like I said, but I feel like I think I did a pretty good job with this one. I think I kind of killed it with this one, not gonna lie. All right, next let's bring it up to Charlotte Tilbury. This was the Eyes to Hypnotize palette, and they've come out with the Eyes to Mesmerize, Eyes to something. I don't quite remember exactly everything, but all of the palettes look very similar. I have had this gripe with Charlotte Tilbury for a long time that like everything ends up looking the same, and you're like, you get deja vu all the time. So I looked at this palette and I'm like, okay, what can I do? I took, you can actually see it in the image. So with the far left, I got rid of one of the shimmery shades because they were redundant. Like, we didn't need two of those shimmery shades. And I switched it out for a deep, deep brown matte because there really wasn't a whole lot of depth to this palette. So I switched out one of the shimmers and put in a deep neutral to warm brown. And then I made the shimmery gold a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter, so it was a little more like impactful, you know? And then the red trio, I did like how this was organized by trios. Like, I feel like that was just like aesthetically pleasing and easy to understand and easy to organize in my brain. But with the red one, I took the center shade, I made it, I think I didn't change the center one at all. But the one on the left, I kind of added, I messed with the undertones a little bit, and I gave it kind of like a bluey, purpley kind of shift, like an undertone. And then I made the red a bit richer, a bit more saturated, a bit more pigmented, and just a bit darker. Because again, the depth, where is it? It doesn't exist. And then the purple trio, that's the one I really kind of messed with. I didn't touch the lighter kind of shimmery shade because that one actually looked really pretty. I switched out the center shade for a deep purple, like a deep eggplant, beautiful purple. Basically, I wanted each of these trios to have like a deep, deep shade. What was the point of having like duplicates of kind of bronzy shimmers? Like, I didn't get that. I made that a deep, deep purple, and then I think I kept the other purple the same too. I didn't mess with the other purple shimmer. I just switched out that kind of like sad, rosy pink in the middle. It just seemed a little bit useless with the other one because the other side was pink. Like, the trio next to it was pink, so I'm like, why is there a pink in here? It didn't vibe for me. And then the far right, I kept the kind of shimmery olivey bronze, but then the center shade I made like a really rich, beautiful, like olive green, but like a mid-tone olive green. And then the outer corner I made like a shimmer, but like a dark shimmer, like a really deep, rich, olivey green, similar, like a base of a brown, like maybe a base of like a blackened green with like an olive shimmer. I feel like that would be really pretty, and I feel like that would complement the other shades in that quad, and it would also work really well with the far left. I tried to kind of think that the center two trios would work really well, and then the outer two trios would work really well, but I think I did a pretty good job with this one too. I like it. Okay, next, we have, what else do I have? Ooh, Natasha Denona. So I talked about the Natasha Denona Triochrome palette. I talked about my issues, my gripes with it. It's still $125, and they're marketing it as like a triochrome, multi-chrome type thing, but there's only 3 of those shades in the palette, and then everything else is just kind of like, blah. That aside, I messed with this one quite a bit. I didn't change the multi-chromes in the center because those are all very pretty, and I feel like that was like the selling point of the palette to begin with. But what I did was I added more. So I didn't make it like another row. I put them in other places. So I did a lot of deepening, a lot of saturation work. I changed some of the undertones. So the top left, I made like a really cool like army green that I feel like works well with so many shades, like so many shades. Definitely that whole top row is a whole vibe. The second one, I wasn't able to exactly make it look the way I wanted it to on Photoshop, but I feel like it would be really cool to have like a really light, bright kind of limey green with a like a peachy shift. I feel like that would look really cool. So I attempted to do that with the gradient here. That's what I'm doing. That's what that's supposed to look like. And then I made the yellow a lot brighter, and then I made the mustard more mustard. Like, just made it more mustardy. The purple row, I made that left shade a very bright kind of lilac pink. I deepened up the maroon, and then I made that bluish purplish shade more kind of a periwinkle. I feel like periwinkle is really pretty and would work really well with that duochrome in the center. And then on the far right, I figured it would be really pretty to maybe not have like as like sparkly of a duochrome, but more of like a metallic duochrome that was more like a baby pink to like a kind of an eggplant shift. So like not the same as the center one, because the center one is more like, it looks like blue to purple. This would be more of like a pink to purple. So it's a little more like you could use it with the shades on the bottom. You could use it with neutrals. And then the bottom row, the bottom left is like a pink to gold shift. And then the orange, I made quite a bit more orange. And then the bottom right I changed every color in this palette except the duochromes. I just made the other shades more pigmented. Like I gave it like a really pretty peach and then like kind of a mid-tone brown. I think this palette still works. I think it still matches the whole theme, and it just gives a little more dimension, a little bit of difference. Then the Huda Beauty Naughty and Nude palette. This is the one with the weird slippery cream shade that looks like a disease or like a crunch bar that you left out for too long. When you actually swatch it, it looks very like boring. So the original palette, while very pretty, like it is a pretty palette, but when I brought it into Photoshop and I was kind of adjusting some of the tones, I realized that the 3 kind of nude shades on the right half of the palette were virtually the same. I adjusted the crap out of these. First of all, I made those nudes different. Like I just made them different. I made the top one a little more kind of a yellow beige, and then the bottom one I richened up. I made it a bit more coral, quite a bit more coral. I made rough more of a mauve tone because I feel like this palette is neutral, but it has variations in neutrals. Like it's got some mauve tones, it's got some cranberries, it's got some golds, it's got some browns, some corally tones. It's just it's a good neutral palette. Like I liked the look of it, except that slippery shade. So I adjusted a lot of those. I completely switched out the slippery shade and made like a really, really deep like eggplant purple. In the pan, it looks a little more navy, but I made like a really, really dark, almost black purple shade because that top one that is like that really pretty marbled one, I also made that one a little more cool toned. I adjusted the saturation and the color temperature to make it give a little more of that blue. I adjusted the Please Me. That one I made a little bit brighter. I made Untamed and Spicy a little darker. I just kind of darkened it up a little bit so that there could be more of a gradient towards that like blackened purple. And I think this works really well as well. I probably would have reorganized it if I was doing this again, but I didn't want to like totally switch up the order of the shades because I think it still works. Like it's still kind of a cool look to it, but I just wanted to change up the colors. And I think this would also work. I like it. I like it now. Now, last but not least is this Kylie Cosmetics Grinch palette. Now, I'm wearing the Gemini palette on my eyes today, so like I love me a good olivey green tone. When this palette first came out, I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. Like actually kind of cute. Like the packaging is kind of cute. I like the colors in there. But then the more that I looked at it, the more I'm like, there's so much redundancy in here. And also, a personal pet peeve of mine is having a background that makes the colors themselves look really desaturated and really sad. So having like the colors themselves laid into a color that's brighter than anything actually in the palette is kind of like counterintuitive. I would think you would want to have something that makes the colors look really pretty and really bright and saturated and just like nice to use. I really changed this one up a lot. The shimmers, I largely kept the same. I didn't do a whole lot to the shimmers because I feel like those made sense with the larger theme. I made that green shade, that matte green, a bit richer and a bit more Grinchy. This kind of minty green, I also deepened up a little bit. I also made a bit more saturated. The bottom left, I switched from this like kind of neutral taupey brown to more of a kind of olivey baby poop brown. It's one of my favorite colors, not gonna lie. The top army green I made a little bit darker, right? A little bit darker, not that much though. I didn't change that one a whole lot. And that because there was like really a lot of just mid-tone brown shades in here. Like looking at all of it in Photoshop, it's like a lot of these are very similar. I kept the one mid-tone brown that was in there, that like third one over and third down. I kept that the same. So I thought that was really cool. I thought this would be a little more fun and inviting of a color story. Oh, I did change that shimmer that was underneath the matte green, the second one over and third down. I made that one more of like a golden green, like a golden olive shimmer shift. I feel like that would work really well in here because these other shimmers just look very like straight up neutral, nothing too revolutionary, but I kept the green sparkle on the far right the same. Like I said, I kept most of the sparkles in here the same. The fact that the outer packaging was more fun and inviting and festive than the colors themselves says a lot. So it's like, let's just switch it up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, those are all the palettes that I edited, that I made brighter, more fun, more inviting. Brands, if you want me to consult on things, on eyeshadow palettes, let me know. My email is on my YouTube channel. I gave you ideas here. Whether you roll with it or not is up to you. Like I said, this will be the first of many of these videos. I very much enjoyed doing this in Photoshop and kind of playing with colors and just getting creative with things that were already kind of sold. And then I'm like, I don't know if I really like this, and just kind of switching it up a little bit. It was really fun. Yeah, let me know if there's any palettes or things that maybe you think I should do for this later on. Maybe not holiday releases, maybe some palettes that are a little bit older that you think would be really fun to redesign. Let me know in the comments down below. For today's song of the day, it is, what is the song of the day? Let's see. There we go. Ooh, actually, there's a new song by Spirit Award, but this new song, Lily of the Valley, is available to stream everywhere, and they got a pre-order for the new record. I'm so excited. So excited for you guys. Yeah, Lily of the Valley by Spirit Award is your song of the day. Go send them some love. If you are new here and would like to see more of my content, please subscribe. That would be super cool and fun. If you liked this video, like, what word am I thinking? If you like this video, please give it a like, please give it a thumbs up, and then check out all my social medias in the description down below, all my merch, my Twitch channel, stream on Twitch a couple times a week. Oh my god, you What is happening? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no. That was super fun. I hope you guys are all having a good week. I hope you are staying safe, staying healthy. Wear your mask, stay home, take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.